Okay guys, I want to talk a little bit about having some balance to your spearfishing, or diving pono as they say. There's lots of things to think about here, but you know, as I mentioned in another video, we used to have mentors, our grandfather, uncles, aunties, stuff like that, that kind of gone through everything and would lay down the rules for us, but there's not so much of that anymore. So I just want to put this out. When we're diving, when we're thinking about heading out, you really want to kind of have some rules, right? One of the main rules that I kind of think about a lot is when I'm out there diving, I'm usually kind of targeting a certain fish in my head at a certain spot. I know there's maybe a lot of uhus or parrotfish in one area, a lot of papillos or jacks in another area. So I'm kind of thinking about targeting those, but it doesn't always work that way, right? So if I go out and I'm thinking I want to get this one fish and I end up shooting another fish, well, to me that's good. You know, I've got that fish. Yeah, sometimes you set out with a target fish in mind, but you end up with another you know, kind of fish for dinner. So it's fine. To me at that point, I would just cut it off and say, okay, I'm just going to move on to the next spot, or just go in. I got enough. So you know, don't overdo it. Another thing is, if you have a bunch of good spots, you know, obviously you don't want to keep pounding, coming day after day and taking fish after fish. You know, you want to be respectful of that area, be respectful of the life in that area, and you know, let the fish, you know, grow. And so yeah, we just take a couple for our needs, leave it a couple weeks, come back and see what it looks like, you know. So just take what you need, basically. There's also, as you progress with your diving, you're going to figure out, like especially with the uhus and the parrotfish, we generally have a blue one and a red one. Typically you want to leave that blue fish, which is the male, to, you know, to do its thing with the females. So yeah, you know, things like that. You want to you recognize you know, the male and females of the species if you can. The bigger breeders, you might want to leave those. Try to go for the middle of the, you know, the size of the school of whatever that you're looking at. Also, it's good to learn like different species spawning times and actually what it looks like. Certain times a year, you know, there's definitely times where certain species are going to be doing their thing and they're acting a little bit differently than you see them. So it takes time to recognize this. But yeah, I mean, if they're spawning, I leave them alone. You know, just let them do their thing. We want our spots, we want the oceans to be healthy and, you know, kind of regenerate as we move through life and as we move through time, right? So let's really think about that. I think it's important. I think it's also important, Hawaii doesn't have a ton of rules and regulations when it comes to fish. What I usually tell folks, especially if you're a beginner, I always get the question like, what fish do we look for? Do we target? How big? And this and that. Go to the DAR website and you can kind of see a lot of the rules and regulations. I'm not going to go through them all. I tell beginners, if it's bigger than your hand, leave it alone. Or if it's about the size of your hand, try to target it. Those are generally like the pan fry kind of fish. So you can grab those, take them home, eat them. If you don't like them, don't ever shoot it again. So it's just, you know, you're not going to take a ton. You're going to take a couple. You know, and just kind of go through the feeling out process. So make sure that you're spreading your diving spots around. You know, go North Shore one day, maybe West Side, then, you know, next week or something like that. You know, don't always consistently hit the same spots. Let those places regenerate. They'll always have fish, and spread that word to other divers. If you see someone, you know, kind of hitting the same spot day after day, maybe just, I don't know, just mention it. You know, say, hey, look, you know, we all want healthy reefs, so let's, you know, spread it around, basically. One thing too, I get a lot with beginners in particular. If you see guys fishing from the shore, if you see their rods, avoid them. Okay, yes, generally the fishermen know where the fish are and they're fishing in the good spots, but if you want a confrontation, then cross their lines and then there's going to be problems. So basically, the simple message is, if you see a bunch of guys on shore fishing, whipping, whether they have their rods out and they're just sitting there with the slide bait that's out there, been out there probably all night or something, just, you know, avoid it. Just go a couple hundred yards away. There's probably good ground somewhere else. So yeah, just be respectful of other fishermen and of other divers. So if you see floats in the area, you know, the rule in my head is I'm going to stay probably at least a couple hundred yards away from that diver or that boat if I see the flag up. The state law is 100 feet, I think, but I'm just going to avoid it. So yeah, I mean, it's a big wide ocean. We got, you know, big wide lake or wherever you're at. Just, you know, avoid the confrontation. You can have a good time, get some food, and everyone's happy. Yeah, so think about that. So in Hawaii, we have live coral for the most part, right? So we want to always, it's part of the ecosystem, the baby fish, and you know, they'll feed off them. There's lots of symbiotic relationships between smaller fish and the coral reefs, and the small fish grow, the bigger fish eat the small fish, and those grow, and so we just always want this cycle to continue, right? So let's have you know, a massive amount of respect for anywhere you're going to jump in and do some spearfishing, but in particular, I think coral reefs are probably pretty fragile these days, and so I try not to ever touch the reef. I know there's lots of techniques of you know, scratching the corals and that to make the fish come back. If there's some dead rocks, I'll kind of pick that up. I would just ask that we, you know, have an over respect for our coral reefs here. We always want them around, because without them we won't have any fish. All right guys, done rambling. Hope that's some information for you. If you got any questions, just leave us the comments in below. If you want to add, please add. You know, I always look at this platform as just, you know, it's a community, right? So we can all learn from each other. I'm always going to respond to your questions. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.